DIY. Today I'm going to show you how to do routine maintenance on your garage door to extend its operational lifetime and to save you money on those discounted tune-ups. Now this maintenance usually takes only about 15 minutes, which is less time than you'll spend calling one of those professionals and meeting them at your house. It's quite simple. You're going to need a wrench or a socket, a lubricant such as this Pro 44, and you're also going to need some scrap cardboard. So let's get started. Now we have two primary objectives when we perform this kind of work. The first is to lubricate all the moving parts, and the second objective is to make sure that all parts are functioning as they should be. Now today I'm just going to cover the routine maintenance and I'm not going to cover repairs. But I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, DIYGarageDoorParts.com. They are the place to go for repairs. They've got great how-to videos, excellent product selection, and superb customer service. So I highly encourage you to check them out when you're done here today. I have a link up here to their website. If you don't see it up here, then check in the description down below. Let's first start by releasing the garage from the opener. I'm going to start by checking to ensure that all the hinges are tight. These are mounted with bolts or lag screws. You don't have to really torque these down. You just want to go through and check each one. If you can turn it a little bit, go ahead and do it, but don't apply a lot of force to it. We just want to make sure that they're nice and tight. Once I'm done tightening the hinges, the next step is to lubricate. And I'm going to use this Pro 44 multi-purpose lubricant to do that. Now we want to lubricate the hinges, which includes the roller pin and possibly the roller bearings. So we'll do the hinges. You want to do the outsides of the hinges as well as the inside. You want to do the roller pins on both sides, and it helps to kind of spin that roller to get that lubricated. Now let's talk about the roller bearings. Now, more than likely you have a roller that looks like this. It's a nylon roller. It actually doesn't even have a bearing. It just spins on the pin. Now you can go ahead and lubricate in there so that moves more freely. You may also have older metal rollers and you might see the ball bearings inside here. If you have those, go ahead and lubricate those ball bearings. Now I highly recommend upgrading to these sealed bearing nylon rollers. They're extremely easy to change, they'll last longer, and they're much smoother and quieter. I decided to replace all my rollers with the sealed bearing nylon rollers. But rather than me showing you how to do it, I'd like you to check out Kyle Hogg's video. He does an excellent job covering every step of this process. I'll link to that video in the description down below. Now you'll notice the lubricant's building up here. At the very end, I'll open and close the garage door a few times to get the lubrication spread out, and then I'll wipe off the excess. Now we're going to lubricate the springs. There's a bearing on the inside of this bracket here. You want to make sure to get that. That's very important. And then you can also choose to lubricate the spring. Now I like to take a piece of cardboard, that way I don't get lubricant all over a painted wall. And I just apply it liberally over the spring. After we're done with the springs, now we're going to hit the pulleys on each end of this bar. For the pulleys, we want to go ahead and apply lubricant around the pulley where the cable is going to go. If you want, you can also take a rag, put some lubricant on there, and lubricate this tension wire. It's not critical, it just reduces friction and in theory will extend the life of this cable. More importantly, there's a bearing on the end here. You can't see it, and unfortunately I can't get the camera around there, but there is a bearing. We want to make sure we lubricate that. And you're going to want to do this on the other side as well. To finish things off, we're going to lubricate the rail. The top part of the rail here is what the traveler actually moves on. That's what needs the most lubrication. This is actually pretty dry. So I'm going to go ahead and just run lubricant down the length of the track on both sides. Now when it comes to the chain or the belt, these typically come lubricated from the factory and probably shouldn't need to be lubricated. But if yours is bone dry, then I would recommend checking out the manufacturer's instructions to see what they recommend for lubricating that. Now that we have everything lubricated, we want to open and close the door to get that lubrication spread throughout all of the moving parts. This is also a good time to check your door balance. So we're going to lift it up halfway and all the way to make sure that the door stays. Now if your door doesn't stay in this position, it likely means you'll need to adjust your springs. Now this is a job that you can do yourself, but it can be a little bit dangerous, so be sure to do your research or hire a professional for this part. And while the door's up, that's also a good time to check this seal to make sure it doesn't have any rips or tears. You might want to replace it. If it does, very easy to replace.